Republicans say what you're really fighting for is taxpayer dollars for, as they put it, illegal aliens. I know that's not strictly true, but there is a provision.
Excuse me, not strictly true.
It's not true directly, but
out lie.
And that is Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts ripping CBS News anchor Tony Dokoupil. As Mediaite wrote, flat out lie, Warren cuts off CBS anchor, pushing her on Trump shutdown talking points.
Way that they frame it.
There is nothing in Medicaid, there is nothing in Medicare that permits one undocumented immigrant to get $1 of assistance.
The brutal takedown of Dokoupil on live TV came after Warren tried to explain the context for Democrats withholding votes to fund the government. Earlier this year, when the GOP passed and signed Donald Trump's tax and spending bill, the measure ended health care for millions of Americans and made major cuts to Medicare and Medicaid. The Republicans also refused to extend Obamacare tax subsidies that are set to expire at the end of this year. Millions of people rely on those subsidies to lower the cost of their health care coverage. And now, many Americans are getting notices that their health care insurance premiums are going to double. And that's on top of the extra cost for Americans who lose subsidies for Obamacare.
We have had now 3 months. We've been begging the Republicans to come to the table and negotiate. You know how many negotiations there have been? 0. And the Republicans are saying they won't negotiate when there's not a shutdown. They won't negotiate when there is a shutdown. So far, they won't negotiate at all. We are only fighting not to expand the money that's spent on health care, just to roll back the cuts so that what health care coverage people had last June, they will still have in October, November, December, and going forward.
As part of the effort to maintain the health care status quo, Democrats are asking that federal reimbursements to hospitals for emergency room care continue. For years, hospitals have treated anybody at an emergency room, whether they have insurance or not. And for ER patients who don't have insurance, the hospitals get a small federal reimbursement. Republicans, as the CBS anchor noted, are now claiming the Medicaid reimbursement is a Democratic effort to help illegal immigrants who get emergency room care.
Republicans don't think those people should be getting health care on the taxpayer dime. I'm not asking on the merits. Politically, putting that in there exposes you to this talking point, this lie, as you put it. Why put it in there? Why is it worth it?
No, what's happened is that what we're saying is that whenever hospitals give care, what is going to be the level of reimbursement? And the Republicans said it's going to be a low level. The Democrats said we just want to go back to the level it was before because you're going to bankrupt hospitals. You're going to put rural hospitals out of business. The Republicans and the Democrats plan, nothing changes the number of undocumented immigrants who still get care if they show up bleeding and unconscious at an emergency room. There is absolutely zero difference. The difference is whether or not hospitals, who under laws that date back to Ronald Reagan, may provide emergency care to anyone who's unconscious, will actually get reimbursed at a very low level that will put the hospital ultimately out of business potentially, or at a higher level. The Republicans, there is no change in the number of undocumented immigrants who get any help under what the Democrats want. Look,
Senator,
what we're looking for is help for people who are going to get pushed out of nursing homes,
Senator,
help for people who are at home and relying on home health aides. That's
Senator,
what this fight is about.
I appreciate your expansion on that issue, and I appreciate the conversation. I hope a compromise is reached soon. Senator Elizabeth Warren, thank you.
Good for Tony Dokoupil. He is a class act and handled that well, even after Senator Warren hammered him over the Trump GOP talking points. Warren is clearly one of the best communicators Democrats have in the U.S. Senate. And if Democrats are going to win this government shutdown argument and convince most Americans that Democrats are being reasonable and the Trump GOP is being extreme, Warren needs to be front and center. Another Senate Democrat who is a compelling communicator is also raising his voice in this debate. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders just filmed a straightforward, no-nonsense video alongside Democratic House member Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Their message about the government shutdown and the GOP was blunt.
Let's be clear, and I'm not doesn't make me happy to have to say this, but there have been studies out there that when you combine doubling premiums for the ACA and then throwing 15 million people off of Medicaid and the ACA, the result is, according to studies at Yale and the University of Pennsylvania, 50,000 low-income, working-class Americans will die every single year. All right? If you don't have the money to go to a doctor and you're sick, you die. And that's what we're looking at. That's what this clean bill is about.
And so Republicans want us to rubber stamp that. And we're saying no. We need to stand up for the American people. We need to stand up for our healthcare system. And if they want our votes, they need to make sure that we're protecting every American and making sure that we can do what we can to continue to make healthcare accessible, affordable, as we work to make it a human right for all.
Right.
Simple, straightforward, conversational, and compelling. AOC and Bernie Sanders hit it out of the park, and that's according to some Republicans. And Democrats, as a party, are not known for being the best messengers or communicating effectively in a tough fight with Republicans. There will be a series of public polls in the days ahead that will give all of us a better look at where the American people are in this government shutdown debate. It's clear, however, that Democrats are now putting their most effective messengers and congressional stars out there. AOC, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and others are fighting hard and effectively against the GOP talking points. And broadcasters who echo the GOP claims are finding out the Democrats will hit back hard and without reservation, even on live TV. By the way, Donald Trump just had a freeze of federal infrastructure spending in New York blow up in his face.
Yeah, look, this is one of the most absurd things that I've ever heard. It's so clearly an illegal action in terms of just having political retribution back and using taxpayer dollars.
The projects affected include the Hudson Tunnel Project, which is aimed at repairing and expanding a key rail link under the Hudson River connecting New Jersey and New York City, and the 2nd Avenue Subway, a long-delayed expansion of Manhattan's subway system. Trump's move has all but guaranteed a Republican is going to lose next month's New Jersey governor's race.
This is a great way for Donald Trump to just ensure that the Republicans lose the governor's race. I think he really just locked in that loss for the Republicans. And with the candidate Jack Ciattarelli in New Jersey saying that Trump can do no wrong, that he can't think of anything that he disagrees with Trump on, I'd like to for him to explain that answer now.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Lemming, who wrote, "If you put a person convicted of fraud in the White House, do not be surprised when he defrauds the public." Indeed. I look forward to reading your comments about Elizabeth Warren hammering a news anchor to his face for pushing Trump GOP talking points. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.